Hello, this is a video on how to play the card game Persian Rug. Persian Rug is similar to another solitaire card game known as Crazy Quilt. If you notice, you'll see that the quilt is set up in the exact same manner, and so we'll talk about the key differences because there are a lot. And so, in terms of setting the game up, 4 kings and 4 aces are dealt to 8 foundation piles, right? They're all different suits, and so we have 4 kings dealt to 4 foundation piles and 4 aces dealt to 4 foundation piles. 64 cards are then dealt face up to a quilt-like setup. Right, you do need 2 standard 52 cards for this 2 standard 52 card decks for this game, and so you'll deal 4 kings to the 4 foundation piles, 4 aces to the 4 foundation piles, and then 64 cards would be dealt face up to a quilt. Right. And so to set up the quilt, 8 cards are in each row of the quilt, right? So you go vertical, horizontal, vertical, and you alternate. And when you're starting the next row, you alternate the orientation you started with. So we go vertical, horizontal, vertical, right? And so you just alternate while you're actually setting it up. But then notice how we begin the first row with a vertical card. We begin the next row horizontally, then vertically, horizontally, then vertically, horizontally, then vertically. And so you'll know you have set it up correctly based on the following, criteria, right? No vertical card can be touching any other vertical card. No horizontal card should be touching any other horizontal card. If this is correct for your entire quilt, you have set it up correctly, right? Horizontal cards should not be touching any horizontal cards. Vertical cards should not be touching any vertical cards. Now, the remaining cards, after you deal 64 into the quilt, are distributed equally to 8 reserve piles. Right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 reserve piles here, with 4 cards dealt to each pile. So that's the setup of the game. That's probably, some sort of hard, right? It does take a lot of time to set up, right? Because after you play a game, you have to set up the quilt formation again, and so do take note of that. It is a solitaire card game that requires a bit more effort to set up. In terms of actually playing the game, the rules for moving cards are as follows. Only the cards that have at least one side exposed are available for play in the quilt. Right? So at the start, that will be your cards on the edges and on the corners, right? Every other card has all 4 sides covered, right? This 7 has cards covering all 4 sides, right? And so if a card has at least one side exposed, it is available to play. Right? Cards from the quilt can be moved to a reserve pile if it's of the same suit and 1 rank higher or lower than the top card in the reserve pile. So let us sort of see here. Let's try to find an example. Putting in some effort to try to find an example, but it doesn't look like... Okay, so we have a jack of diamonds here, right? And a card from the quilt can be moved to the reserve pile if it's 1 rank higher or 1 rank lower and of the same suit. Right, the jack is of diamonds, and so we can move a card that is 1 rank higher, the queen of diamonds, or a card that is 1 rank lower, the 10 of diamonds, to this reserve pile. I'll go ahead and demonstrate that we can indeed do it with the queen of diamonds there. Right, so now this reserve pile has 5 cards instead of 4. And notice how this opened up these 2 cards for play, right? Before, these 2 cards were exposed on all of their short sides. So my apologies. I said all 4 sides before. I meant all of the short sides, right? And so notice if we move this queen of diamonds here, this short side here is exposed. This short side here is exposed, right? But if we have the queen of diamonds there, the short side here is covered. The short side here is covered, right? The short side must be exposed, not touching any card, right? At least one of the short sides. So here, this short side is covered on this 3 of hearts, but the top short side is exposed on the 3 of hearts, and so we can then play the 3 of hearts. Similarly, the bottom short side on the 5 of diamonds is covered. The top short side on the 5 of diamonds is exposed. So if the short side is exposed, the card is available for play. You can play a card if it is 1 rank higher or 1 rank lower and of the same suit to the reserve pile. If it is 1 rank higher or 1 rank lower than the top card of the reserve pile. You can also play a card from one reserve pile to another in the same manner. And so it doesn't look like we can really actually demonstrate this here. But let's say we had a 10 of diamonds sitting here. We could then move it from this reserve pile to this reserve pile, right? So cards can be played to the reserve pile if they are 1 rank higher or 1 rank lower than the top card and of the same suit. If you have an empty reserve pile, it can be filled with any card. A card from the quilt or the reserve pile can be played to the foundation, right? And so that's it. That is literally it, right? If you're playing a card onto the reserve pile, it's 1 rank higher, 1 rank lower of the same suit. And if playing cards from the quilt requires that one short side from the card be exposed, right? And so here, the short side on the bottom of this 2 is exposed, so it is available for play, right? The long sides do not matter, it is only the short sides we are concerned with. The game is won once all the cards are moved to the foundation. The game is lost if you run out of moves. Right? So let us do a quick demonstration here. So the only rule really is moving cards to the reserve pile, and that's pretty much it. And also the cards that are available for play from the quilt are the cards with an exposed short side. Let us try and really play here. We're looking for an ace. I'll try my best to play this ace. Or sorry, we already have all the aces in the foundation pile. We're looking for a 2, right? So by moving this queen onto that king, I also open up this 2, right? And so, as you can see, you simply play like so. We can then play this jack. Do we have the 10 of diamonds? The 10 of diamonds is right there. I'll open up the 10 of diamonds by playing the 3 of hearts. That exposes that short side on the 10 of diamonds, which allows me to play it. I will then, now I played the 10 of diamonds onto the pile there. I'm looking for the 9 of diamonds. The 9 of diamonds has a short side exposed right there. So what I will do is I will go ahead and play the 9 of diamonds onto the pile as well. What else are we looking for? We are looking for the 8 of diamonds. And the 8 of diamonds can be obtained not easily. It won't be obtained easily, and so we'll have to hold off. There's also another 8 of diamonds there, but we'll have to hold off. We have the Queen of Hearts. Let us obtain the Queen of Hearts, as well as the Jack of Hearts. You want to empty the reserve piles because it'll allow you to move any card to the reserve pile once it's empty, providing you the most liberty in terms of the moves you would like to make. The 10 of Hearts can also be moved. That exposes the 4 of Spades as well, right? So we are making some key progress here. The 2 of Diamonds is right there. Now we're looking for the 3 of Diamonds. We're looking for the 4 of Diamonds. What about the 5 of Diamonds? That's also there. And the 6 of Diamonds now. 6 of Diamonds is also there as well. Right? Notice how when I'm moving cards, I'm exposing more cards that are available to be played. This is because I'm exposing their short side. Once a card's one of the short sides on a card is exposed, it is available for play. So the rules are pretty simple, right? You just have your once again, you can move a card onto the reserve pile if it's 1 rank higher or lower than the top card and of the same suit. If you have an empty reserve pile, it can be filled with any card. And cards can only be played if one of their short sides is exposed. Let us continue. We're looking for the 4 of Hearts. Uh, doesn't seem like we'll really be able to obtain them right now. What we'll do is we'll sort of look and see if there's any other card we can make a play with. I'm looking to make a play with a 2. Now, we're looking for the 9 of hearts. The 9 of hearts would also be beneficial. So let us see, can we make a play with the 9 of hearts? No, we cannot. We can make a play with the Queen of Spades, though. Right, as well as the Queen of Clubs. So it is possible to miss out on very obvious moves if you're not looking very carefully. Now, in this case, we are sort of stuck. Do we have the Jack of Spades anywhere here available? What about the 9 of Hearts? Nope. What about the 8 of Diamonds? Nope. And what about the Jack of Clubs? Does not look like it either. So, we're sort of in a bit of a trouble here, but let us go through the pile once more. The 2 of Spades? Nope. The 4 of Hearts? Nope. And the 7 of Diamonds? Yes. Right, so it's good that we were going through because we were able to catch a move that would be beneficial. In this case, we didn't unlock any cards that would benefit us, so there's no point of going through all the cards again. Let us just see if the 8 of Diamonds is available. Nope. Both 8 of Diamonds would be beneficial to have. And last but not least, the 2 of Clubs, which is also not available. Now, what we have to do is sort of target a card that we could, I guess, get to, right? So we know we need the Jack of Spades. So can we get to the Jack of Spades? To get to the Jack of Spades, we'll have to uncover a sequence of cards here. What I'll do, although this isn't the best strategy for the purpose of time, even though you should be thinking ahead, I'll simply start moving cards to the reserve piles, just so we can sort of uh, start, I guess, doing what we need to. Now notice how the king is the highest, right? So I can try to move this ace, but there's no such thing as turning the corner, right? It does not go in a circle here. So that's one more key thing I should have mentioned. In terms of playing the game, though, there's not much else that can be done. All one can really do is sort of play as you go, and sort of hope for the best. What it would be, we have gone through most of the general rules, right? It would be sort of time consuming to go through the entire quilt here, and so that'll wrap up how to play Persian Rug. Um, Note that you have your, in terms of setting the game up, 4 kings and 4 aces of different suits are dealt to 8 foundation piles. 64 cards are then dealt face up to a quilt-like setup. You'll know you have set the quilt up correctly because no 2 vertical cards should be touching and no 2 horizontal cards should be touching. Right? 8 cards are in each row of the quilt, and so it is an 8x8 quilt. And also note that the card you start each row with alternates as well. Now, the top card of the reserve pile, you can play a card on the reserve pile if it is 1 rank higher or 1 rank lower than the top card on your reserve pile and of the same suit. And so once you deal your 64 cards to the blanket or the rug, The remaining cards are distributed equally to 8 reserve piles, with 4 cards to each pile. Only the cards with at least one short side exposed, right, are available for play in the rug. Cards from the rug can be moved to a reserve pile once again if they are one rank apart from the top card and of the same suit. If you have an empty reserve pile, it can be filled with any card. And that's pretty much it. You win the game once you move all the cards to the foundation pile. That wraps up how to play Persian Rug. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.